Right now, someone is spending $4,000 on a Cartier Love bracelet that was made in a factory in Shenzhen for $11. Someone else is selling a Tiffany necklace on Instagram that has brass showing through the silver plating after 2 weeks. And someone is about to propose with a diamond that was swapped out of its original setting and replaced with cubic zirconia before the box was resealed. The counterfeit jewelry market is worth over $50 billion a year, and the fakes are getting so good that even experienced buyers are getting fooled. Today, I am going to show you exactly how to tell real from fake across 5 of the most counterfeited jewelry brands in the world. By the end of this video, you will catch what most people miss in under 10 seconds. Let us start with the most faked piece of luxury jewelry on the planet, the Cartier Love bracelet. Designed in 1969 by Aldo Capullo, this bracelet was meant to be locked onto your wrist with a screwdriver as a symbol of permanent commitment. Retail price today starts at $6,500 for the classic model in 18-karat yellow gold. Fakes start at $9 on AliExpress. Here is how you tell them apart. First, the weight. A genuine Cartier Love bracelet weighs between 30 and 38 grams depending on the size and metal. That is roughly the weight of 5 or 6 American quarter coins. Fakes are almost always lighter because they use hollow construction or base metals with thin gold plating. If you can hold it and it feels like costume jewelry, it is costume jewelry. Second, the engravings. Every authentic Love bracelet is stamped on the inside with 4 things: the Cartier logo in a specific cursive font, the metal purity mark, which is 750 for 18-karat gold or 950 for platinum, a 2-digit size number, and a unique serial number. On a genuine piece, these engravings are perfectly spaced, deeply cut, and razor-sharp to the touch. On fakes, the font is thicker, the spacing is uneven, and the edges feel rough or shallow. Some counterfeits even put the Cartier logo on both sides of the interior instead of one, which Cartier never does. Third, the screws. On an authentic Love bracelet, the screws sit perfectly flush with the surface. They are uniform in size, evenly spaced, and the slots are centered with surgical precision. On fakes, the screws often protrude slightly. The slots may be crooked, and if you compare 2 screws on the same bracelet, they may actually be different sizes. Cartier's quality control would never allow that. The screwdriver that comes with the genuine bracelet turns smoothly and effortlessly. On most fakes, it sticks, catches, or does not fit at all. Fourth, the closure. In 2011, Cartier redesigned the locking mechanism so that the screw stays attached to the bracelet even when it is open. This means the screw cannot fall out or get lost. If you are looking at a bracelet that claims to be post-2011 and the screw detaches completely, it is fake. The 2 halves of a genuine bracelet align perfectly when closed, with no gap and no overlap. On fakes, there is almost always a slight misalignment where the halves meet. Cartier engineers this to a fraction of a millimeter. Counterfeiters do not. And here is the price test that catches most fakes instantly. A new classic Love bracelet retails for around $6,500. On the secondary market, genuine pieces rarely drop below $5,000 because resale value is exceptionally strong. If you see a Love bracelet listed for $800 or $1,000 and the seller claims it is authentic, walk away. The only thing real about that deal is the money leaving your wallet. Now let's move to Tiffany & Co., the most counterfeited silver jewelry brand in the world. The return to Tiffany heart tag collection alone has generated more fakes than almost any other jewelry line in history. Here is what to look for. Start with the hallmarks. Every genuine Tiffany piece is stamped with either the full name Tiffany & Co. or the abbreviation T&Co, along with a metal purity mark. Sterling silver carries a 925 stamp. 18-karat gold carries 750. Platinum carries 950. If those stamps are missing entirely, it is fake. If they are there but blurry, off-center, or misspelled, it is fake. Next, the links. This is the single fastest way to catch a fake Tiffany necklace or bracelet. Genuine Tiffany links are soldered continuous loops with absolutely no visible seam or join. The soldering is so precise that each link looks like it was formed from a single piece of metal. Fakes almost always have a visible gap or line where the link was bent closed, but not properly soldered. Pick up the piece, hold it at eye level, and look at the links one by one. If you see a single break in a single link, it is not Tiffany. Then, the weight. Tiffany uses high-grade sterling silver, and genuine pieces feel substantial in your hand. Counterfeits use plated brass or low-grade alloys that feel noticeably lighter. Some fakes even have brass showing through the plating after a few weeks of wear, something that would never happen with genuine sterling silver. If you see discoloration or a gold-colored tone appearing underneath the silver surface, you are holding a fake. Finally, the finishing. Authentic Tiffany jewelry has edges that are clean, smooth, and perfectly rounded. Logos are centered with exact spacing between every letter. The font has a specific characteristic. The T in Tiffany and the C in Co are slightly larger than the other letters. Counterfeits rarely nail this detail. The letters are often all the same height, the spacing is off, or the engraving looks stamped rather than precision cut. Van Cleef and Arpels is next, and the Alhambra collection is the prime target. The iconic four-leaf clover motif in mother-of-pearl, onyx, or malachite has been counterfeited millions of times. The details that separate real from fake are small, but absolute. On a genuine Alhambra pendant, the beading around the edge of the clover is perfectly uniform. Each tiny gold bead is the same size, evenly spaced, and sits at the same height. On fakes, the beading is inconsistent. Some beads are slightly larger, some are spaced further apart, and the overall effect looks lumpy rather than precise. This is because Van Cleef uses a specialized technique where each bead is individually formed and set by hand. Counterfeiters use molds, and molds cannot replicate that level of consistency. The stone setting is another giveaway. On a genuine piece, the mother-of-pearl or onyx sits perfectly flush within the clover frame, with no gaps between the stone and the gold bezel. The surface of the stone is smooth, evenly colored, and free of any cloudiness. Fakes often have slight gaps between the stone and the frame, uneven coloring in the mother-of-pearl, or a slightly raised edge where the stone does not sit flush. Hold the piece at an angle under a bright light. If you see any shadow between the stone and the gold surround, it is not Van Cleef. The clasp on a genuine Alhambra necklace is also distinctive. It bears the Van Cleef and Arpels logo, the metal purity stamp, and a serial number. The logo is laser engraved with perfect clarity. On counterfeits, the clasp is often slightly larger or smaller than the authentic version, and the engraving lacks definition. Now, Pandora. You might think faking a $70 charm is not worth the effort. You would be wrong. Pandora is one of the most counterfeited jewelry brands on Earth, precisely because the price point is low enough that buyers do not scrutinize as hard. Here is what separates real from fake. Every genuine Pandora charm is stamped with the Pandora logo and a metal purity mark, typically S925 for sterling silver, or Pandora Rose for their rose gold-plated collection. The stamp is small, but perfectly legible under magnification. On fakes, the stamp is often blurry, incomplete, or missing altogether. Some counterfeits stamp ALE, which are the initials of Pandora's founder, but they get the font wrong or place it in the wrong location on the charm. The threading inside Pandora charms is another critical detail. Genuine Pandora charms have a precisely machined internal thread that screws smoothly onto the bracelet. Fakes often have threading that is too loose, too tight, or slightly off pitch, causing the charm to wobble or not sit flush against the bracelet. Weight matters here too. Genuine Pandora sterling silver charms have a solid, satisfying weight. Counterfeits feel hollow or tinny because they use thinner metal or lighter alloys. If a charm feels like it could blow away in a breeze, it did not come from Pandora's factory in Thailand. Finally, let us talk about diamonds, because this is where the stakes are highest and the fakes are most sophisticated. Counterfeit diamonds come in several forms, including cubic zirconia, moissanite, white sapphire, and glass. Each one tells you can spot without professional equipment. Cubic zirconia is the most common diamond substitute. It looks convincing at first glance, but gives itself away with two simple tests. First, the rainbow test. Hold the stone under a light and look at the flashes of color it produces. A real diamond produces white light with subtle flashes of spectral color. Cubic zirconia throws off exaggerated rainbow flashes that look almost too colorful. Second, the fog test. Breathe on the stone like you would fog a mirror. A real diamond disperses heat almost instantly, so the fog clears within 1 to 2 seconds. Cubic zirconia holds moisture longer, staying foggy for 4 to 5 seconds. Neither test is definitive on its own, but together they catch the vast majority of fakes. Moissanite is harder to spot because it is a genuinely impressive stone. But it has one characteristic that diamonds do not: double refraction. If you look through a moissanite from the top and focus on the facets at the bottom, you will see doubled lines where the facet edges appear to split. Diamonds are singly refractive and do not produce this effect. You need a loupe or magnifying glass to see it, but once you know what to look for, it is unmistakable. The most reliable protection is always a certificate from an independent gemological laboratory. A GIA or AGS report tied to the specific stone gives you cut, clarity, color, and carat weight verified by professionals. If a seller cannot produce a certificate for a diamond they claim is worth more than $1,000, that absence tells you everything you need to know. Here is the uncomfortable truth about the counterfeit jewelry market. It is not going away. It is getting bigger, faster, and more convincing every year. The technology that counterfeiters use improves constantly, and the gap between a $50 fake and a $5,000 original is shrinking in appearance, even as it remains enormous in substance. The plating gets thinner, the engravings get rougher, the stones cloud over, and the value on the secondary market is zero. A fake is not an investment. It is not a placeholder. It is a lie you wear on your body, and it tells everyone who knows what to look for exactly what it is. The 5 rules to protect yourself are simple. 1. Always check the weight. 2. Always inspect the engravings under magnification. 3. Always examine the links and closures for precision. 4. Always ask for certification on any stone over half a carat. 5. Always buy from a source that guarantees authenticity, whether that is the brand directly, an authorized retailer, or a reputable second-hand dealer with a return policy. The best piece of jewelry is one you never have to question. If it is real, you will feel it in the weight, see it in the detail, and know it in the way it lasts. Everything else is just metal and marketing. Which brand surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. If this saved you from a bad purchase, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.